And good morning to you. Back to the second hour here. As promised, we have with us for this little brief interview, politically speaking. He'll be back again. You guys will be back being interviewed by most likely Jay Reinstein or some other person. But, we're giving a little opportunity to come behind the mics, those individuals that have filed. Filing ended on Friday, last Friday, the 19th at 12 noon. And so there's a number of races out there, but we're talking about the Board of Commissioners now. And I think that this Board of Commissioner race is very interesting to me, those that pay attention to politics. So this is what's happening. You have 6 people running. 5 of those individuals that are running have been elected before to something. 1 on the city council, 4 on the Board of Commissioners. And those 4 on the Board of Commissioners, you have 3 of those that have been elected at large, and 1 of the candidates has been elected in District 2. And of course, you have the 6th person, I'm calling it, that has not been elected to any race whatsoever. But anyway, though, good morning, Charles. How you doing today?
I am good. It's very interesting listening to you with the numbers of individuals that ran. I mean, you're sharp this morning, and I can appreciate that. I'm like, wow, you know that.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, but that's just that race there. Of course, as you and I were talking prior to the show beginning, we have a probably coming up. Now, this is the primary for those races because the Democrats and the Republicans both have primaries in this U.S. Senate race. But this U.S. Senate race is probably going to be the most expensive one in the nation. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. Not the first time this happened. It's happened before. I remember it's happened several times. I remember probably the first time it happened was between a now deceased former governor Jim Hunt and Jesse Helms back in 1984. Wow. So it's going to be interesting. But, you've been there on the city council. You've been there for the Board of Commissioners. You got 16 years behind you of experience, and you're back in the race, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And tried a couple of things and sat back and watched. And I know a little bit of something about service. I know a little bit of something about the Board of Commissioners. And I know that as a person that have served for the 16 years that you have mentioned, that God has allowed me to be qualified to represent the citizens of this county. And I do it with a great amount of love and compassion, because I feel you have to have those to serve the citizens that you represent. Because if you care about the persons or the people that you represent, you're going to do the best that you possibly can do. And that's always been me. It's never been about Charles. It's always been about the citizens that I represent. And I try very hard to do it to the very best of my ability. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about this race and the possibilities that I could bring to the table, again, other initiatives that will move this county forward.
Well, I believe that's going to be, without a doubt, an interesting race, not only because it's a partisan race. Mm-hmm. You guys have a Democratic primary. Those 6 individuals that I was talking about the Democratic side of the House. There are 2 Republicans that are running because it's a 2-seat at-large race. There are 2 Republicans that are running. Ron Ross, that's a name for me with a lot of people. He's been somewhat of a perennial candidate. And also Greg West, who was 6-time winner on the Board of Education, mm-hmm. Which is county-wide as well. But it's going to be interesting, without a doubt. But coming back to your race in particular, man, you guys is like, you remember when they had that unification fight on HBO where Tyson and all them big boxers was in there, they were knocking each other out.
No, sir. You're talking about sports now. And I'm not that. Look, you're very sports-minded today. So,
Reverend Paul remembers that.
You know, I don't know.
That was it. But look, here's the story. They had all these boxers that was in there, Charles. And they had to come in, and they had the WBA, the WBC. Well, what's the other one, Pastor? WBC, World Boxing Association, World Boxing Conference, and there was a third one too. I don't know the third one. But anyway, though, there was a unification fight. I mean, honestly, that's how I kind of sort of see. You got a lot of heavyweights in this thing. You know what I mean? On the Democrat side, because it's 6 of you all, you got to narrow that down to 2. That's quite interesting. You know what I mean?
I think that if the voters would take the time, as we normally should do on each election, and look at who the candidate or candidates is, and look at the experience and what each person that have served in their respective position have brought to the table, that would change the lives of the citizens that they serve, I believe that they will pick Charles Evans, because I'm that candidate. I'm that person. I've had the honor to serve Cumberland County for 12 years in the capacity of chairman and also as vice chairman. And during the time of my chairmanship, we moved right along with a number of initiatives that was brought to the table and voted on by the entire board to move forward with. And so when you look at that list of individuals, you will see the person that is qualified and that love this county. This is my home county, and that will continue to work well with others to make this county the best it can be. That's Charles Evans.
What do you see if you're going to prioritize what needs to happen here?
Well, you know what? We've been talking about water. We've been talking about infrastructure. I hear it everywhere. But the movement, people say government moves slow. The movement has to move a little faster. So water would be the first concern of mine. We have a municipality, a township. After visiting it, not while I was elected, but recently, and speaking to leadership in that township, it's about to be another Flint, Michigan. And that's not fair to them. We have to move urgently in getting this done, taking care of this water issue, and making sure that individuals receive safe, clean drinking water and all of that. We have to do that. That would be right now my top concern.
Right. Do you have a 2 and a 3?
I have a 2 and a 3? Absolutely. Well, I know that some people don't want to talk about it, but it's an issue of mine that I'm concerned about, and that's homelessness. I've been speaking about it since 2000. When was I elected to the county board? The city council, 2005. I've been talking about it since 2005 because of my experience as a homeless individual in Washington, D.C. And to get back to Fayetteville and see that it's slow in coming just to build a shelter. Yeah, we hear that there's progress going on, that there's some work being done to get it done. But there's not an urgency there, to me. I would like to see that finished. I would like to see this event center come to fruition. There's still questions about that and concerns that need to be addressed that I think a lot of us don't understand what's going on. It's a matter of understanding and transparency in a lot of these issues that I'm talking about.
Sure. Now, okay, I'm gonna come back to the homeless thing in a minute. But when you say event center, what do you mean when you say this event center?
Okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about, Troy.
No, I mean because I mean
you know exactly.
They're not going to
what
build one downtown. You talking about fix what's out on Coliseum Drive?
Well, let me tell you this. We see that with this current administration, that things could change. I'm talking about the event center that was proposed for the downtown area, that the property was dug up, the parking spaces were dug up, and all this stuff right there in front of the courthouse. That's what I'm talking about.
So you think it still should be one there?
I think that we should have an event center. I think there's a big conversation talked about. But I think that if we have started a project that's in the millions of dollars, I think that we should continue the process.
Even with the rising costs?
That is something that we need to talk about.
Because I think you guys started off with something, a figure like, I know it was less than 100,000. And now that's based upon what I've been exposed to, because parking is a problem downtown. And people that say it's not a problem downtown, it's because they're not downtown trying to find a park. That all of that would have ballooned into a situation of over $200 million. And the way you're paying for it, it'd be 25 years. So I'd have to be 95 years old for it to be completed. And we're going to pass that off to our children, our grandchildren. And you know the document that came out in 2021, it didn't say it should be there anyway. I got all
What
that.
document?
The assessment document that was done by the group that manages everything for you now.
Okay, let me share this with you, Troy. Whenever it was brought to the Board of Commissioners, I was chairman of that board. We did our due diligence in making sure that all I's were dotted and all T's were crossed before we decided to go into building, attempting to build that event center. I was at a meeting of the senior Democrats, and it was said, I asked a question about parking. I'm just as concerned about parking as everybody else is. And it was said that there was no preparation, no plans for parking for the event center. And that was totally wrong. At the time, as chairman of that board, when we decided to go with the event center at the locale downtown, there also was a plan for parking, a parking garage to be done. Now, whatever happened after I left the Board of Commissioners in 2022, I'm not aware of it. But there were plans for parking at that time. As I said, we had done our due diligence. We had the studies done. First of all, we had a public hearing. We had a public forum out at the Crown Coliseum to see what it was that individuals wanted in regards to this event center.
That was during COVID.
During COVID?
It was. That was in 2020.
Well, if you say so. I don't remember wearing a mask that day when I was out there.
I'm going to give you gently pushback on what you're saying, because I delve into that real deep too, and I'm pulling up documents. And I'm saying is that now the document that I can show you, and I asked a lot of people about it, the document that said where should we put this at, downtown was not the place to put it at. The document the assessment that was done by that group says to repair what was on at the off Gillespie and Coliseum Drive.
Okay, let me tell you this. And the documents and the voices that we heard from the individuals that we had hired to study this particular event center, well, we also had the Crown Coliseum, the auditorium, and the other part of the building, the arena. The studies were done. It was at that time. It was more beneficial to build a new one in opposed to trying to retrofit that one for ADA purposes.
Based on the price that you had at that time.
At that time.
But look, that did not have, Charles, a $200 million tag to it, though. That was something like $35 million, I think, or something like that. I'm saying there's a big difference between that. So, you're going to offer me something and say, hey, look, now this is going to cost you $35 million. I said, okay, I can deal with that. But then when you balloon the cost up to $200 million or more, it doesn't make sense. Now, like I said, we just talking. But I'm saying another thing too, I did the research. Look, nowhere else in the state of North Carolina are people doing that. They have public-private partnerships. What was proposed was going to be totally on the backs of the taxpayers.
Okay, like right now, it's not on total. The amount now, you said that's totally on the back of taxpayers. But what about now? What about the monies that are being paid out now on the back of taxpayers?
But because it's not $200 million,
but irregardless, it's money.
Yeah, it's money. It's money. But look,
you're looking at contractors that were hired to do this work. You see, we're being sued. We're being sued because of not paying them.
But you stopped paying them in July before this new board even came on. That's a fact.
Okay.
Is that not a fact? They were stopped. They were not being paid in July of 2024. That was before this present board came on the scene.
Whether that's a fact or not, I do not know.
Okay, well, I'm telling you it is.
But what I'm telling you is the information that we had when we moved to have that event center built in front of the Crown Coliseum. I'm giving you that information. Now, whatever transpired afterwards, that's on them. Well, but I'm telling you, because I don't want people to think that we just willy-nilly decided to go with an event center in front of the courthouse.
Wasn't there
our studies? We did the study. We did the studies, and we did everything that we needed to do to move forward with that project.
Wasn't there a committee? How many members on that committee?
It was 3.
And wasn't Dr. Jeanette Council taken off that committee in the end? So it was Glenn Adams, Jimmy Keefe, and Jeanette Council. Jeanette Council was taken off that committee, and another person was placed on it.
Who was the other person?
I don't know. But
if you know that, then tell me who the other person was.
But my point was this right here. It's my understanding she don't even know why she was taken off of it. But the thing about it is, but I'm gonna say, but look, there are 2 people that voted for that later came back and voted against it. And that is Jeanette Council and Marsha Fairclough. They voted for it, and then they came back and they voted against it. But that's just the facts. But look, we're gonna take a break, and we'll come back, and we're chatting with former County Commissioner Charles Evans. I didn't mean to go this far in the weeds, but he wants to do that, so we'll do it. Okay, we'll be back. Following this.
Details continue to emerge about the plane crash that left longtime NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his family dead. During a press conference over the weekend, NTSB spokesman Michael Graham says they aren't sure who was piloting the plane. Funeral arrangements for former Governor Jim Hunt have been announced. Holiday travel season is in full swing, with North Carolina airports and roads preparing for a significant increase in travel throughout the new year. 28 years ago, veterans, first responders, and volunteers came together to start Operation Deployed Santa to make sure no child has to go without Christmas. There are locations in North Carolina. The U.S. is experiencing a surge of the flu this season. The Powerball jackpot for tonight's drawing is an estimated $1.6 billion. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Fayetteville Police Department Special Victims Unit detectives are actively investigating a sexually motivated assault. Police say on December 18th, while a Cumberland County Sheriff's Office deputy was conducting a traffic stop near the 100 block of Grove Street, the driver of a motor vehicle notified the deputy that they had been a victim of a previous sexual assault that occurred during the evening hours of December 18th around the 2400 block of Murchison Road. The investigation revealed that an unknown suspect committed the assault. The suspect is described as an unknown race with a raspy voice, wearing a thick unknown color jacket. If you have any information, call 910-705-5160. On December 19th, a little before 1 p.m., officers with the Fayetteville Police Department went out to a crash involving multiple vehicles and a motorcycle that resulted in a fatality. The decedent has been identified as 20-year-old Aaron Aguero of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Thanks to the cold front that passed yesterday, it is chilly to start our Monday with lows in the 20s and some 30s across the region. It'll be a cool afternoon, then we'll see warming temperatures as we head towards Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We start with mostly clear skies with temperatures at around 30 degrees. Lots of sunshine by this afternoon, highs will reach the low to mid 50s. Then for your Tuesday, some brief showers are possible early, otherwise partly cloudy with highs reaching the low 60s. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the Weather Center.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Greetings to all of our WIDU listeners. This is State Representative Mike Colvin, and I would like to take a moment to wish each of you and your entire families a very Merry Christmas and a blessed, happy, healthy, and safe New Year. May the Lord continue to keep us and watch over us through the new year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
I'm Pastor Jerry D. Swinney from Bethel Christian Assembly at 1065 Progress Street here in the city of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And you're listening to Wake Up.
This is Bishop Johnny Ray Jr. of the Churches of Worship Worldwide, Apostle J. A. McDonough, 2118 Owen Drive. And we are proud to be a part of the Wake Up. Come and join the team.
36 minutes after the hour, back to this situation. Again, former Commissioner Evans, the document that I'm talking about that is available, matter of fact, anyone listening to this, if they haven't taken it down, that document is still on the county website. Just meander through all of the little things and get to the Crown Center right there. That document is in that. And the document I'm talking about, if you're going to sit down and have a sit down, it would only accommodate 480 people. If you're sitting down, that's in the document, and we all know that. So I'm saying is that like now.
No, we all don't know that, and I'm gonna sum it up this way: we all don't know that.
Well, go,
what
you
I'm
need to read
telling you, I'm telling you, sir.
This thing that I'm talking about, have you read it?
What I'm telling you, sir.
That's yes or no.
What I'm telling you, sir, is that whenever we initiated this event center, we did our due diligence. I don't want the citizens to think that we willy-nilly decided to put a place there in front of the courthouse without doing our due diligence. Whatever the cost may be at this time, I'm not aware of what the cost will be at this time. So that should answer your question right there. I think by the suit that was presented to us by the young lady, because she could not, and other individuals with certain handicaps could not use the facilities out there. And we found out that retrofitting that particular building was more than building a new one. That's what we had to go on, and we went on it. I believe the conversation needs to be had and still be had regarding building an event center, because we need one. And as you stated, there is a competition with others, but this is the city of Fayetteville. This is Cumberland County. We should have a decent facility to go to.
All on the backs of taxpayers.
Wait a minute. There are other things that have been done in Cumberland County on the back of taxpayers.
I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the event center.
No. The event center, yes.
So
if that's the way it needs to be paid for.
So it should all be on the backs of taxpayers.
No.
But I'm saying, see, what I'm just saying is that when you compare yourself to the rest of the state, and that's inside that document too, there were public-private partnerships. In other words, you bring in corporations, they pay half of it, and the citizens pay half of it. But I'm saying that we are a Tier 1 community. Is that not true?
Oh, absolutely we are.
So now, let's break that down for somebody that may not know. That means that we are the poorest, one of the poorest counties in the state. So why would we, being the poorest county, one of the poorest counties in the state, build something that's going to cost over $200 million and put it totally on the backs of the taxpayers?
Okay, but let me ask you this. We are also, we are Tier 1. We have built things here in Cumberland County, and we had opened things on the back of taxpayers, and there was no concern about that.
For entertainment or for necessity?
What have we built for necessity in Cumberland County? What have we built lately for necessity?
But I'm saying, but what are we building for entertainment? Look, this what you're talking about, an event center, that's basically for entertainment.
But it's for revenue as well, sir. What I'm telling you, we need to talk about this. Well, we need to go back to the table and everybody have a conversation about this. And yes, I do agree that there should be a sponsor with that. There should be someone with that besides the taxpayers' money.
Well, that's my question. I'm just saying is that, okay, I got that, but I'm saying is that, and I would say that that document, if you have not seen it, I'm going to send it to you. And anyone else, look, text me. I give you my mobile number, 910-286-0368, 910-286-0368. I will send them that document that I'm talking about that was on the county website that clearly shows that the assessments and the groups that got together, that they did not recommend downtown. They did not.
Well, that's all well and good, Troy. But what I said to you, and what I still stand by, is that when this board decided to move with that event center, it was all done in a manner that we were acceptance of. We did our due diligence. And for anyone to say that we didn't, they are totally wrong.
Well, it's going to be an interesting a conversation piece as you all move forward. And I think that anyone that's running for election, if they're going to put that on their agenda, that we need to build something outside of what has been decided to refurbish out on Coliseum Drive, it's going to make for an interesting conversation piece in this election cycle.
Well, it may be that. It may be interesting, but it's something that we have to deal with because we need to do what's best for the county, and the conversation needs to be had. But as the former chairman of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, when it was decided, we did it in a manner that was respectful of the citizens of Cumberland County and the monies that would have to be paid out. We did that. And for anyone to think that we didn't, to include parking for individuals that will visit or that had business at the courthouse, the employees, staff, and everyone else, it was included. And for someone to say that it wasn't is not the truth.
Well, I'm going to say this. The paper trail doesn't support what you're saying. No paper trail that I've seen supports what you're saying. I'm not saying that y'all don't have a conversation about it, but the whole issue with parking was talked about later, after that decision was made.
That's not true, Troy. That's
Well,
not
I'm
true.
telling you,
I don't know what you're reading, because that is not true. Because a parking deck was included in that conversation, and I'm not going to say okay. Because the reason I know is because I was in that conversation. I told you. I said to you. I didn't want to say it like that, but I said to you. I was the chairman of the board at that time, and it was included. Parking was included at that. Now, whatever transpired afterwards, I do not know what happened. But whenever we talked about building that event center at the location of downtown, a parking deck was included, sir. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not talking about a conversation. I'm talking about contractually. Was a parking deck included contractually?
Look, Troy, the conversation that we had and the documents that we had from deciding on where this event center should go and the things that were needed to have a great event center, it was on paper.
Okay.
It was on paper. So the information that you're spitting out here, that you're putting out here, I don't know.
And I don't know what you're talking about either, because look, I can read. I don't know. I can't do anything else, but I can read. I can read too. I wasn't in the room with you, but I can read. And I'm telling you, I tell you what you want. I tell you what you do. You send me documentation of what you're talking about, and I get behind this microphone and I read it to the people.
Well, I tell you what, Troy.
You support what you're saying, and I'm just saying is that. And I say, hey, look, this was not what I was exposed to. I say Charles Edmond was right. But I tell you what, though, you're going to have to show me that paperwork.
Well, I tell you what, having been there at the table and listening to the conversations that were had, I know what I'm talking about.
I'm not, look, you know what?
No, you are questioning what I'm talking about.
No, look. Yeah, I am, because I'm saying, show it to me. I mean, is that fair?
You said you saw it.
I said I didn't see it. I'm saying is that I didn't see a paper trail for what you said.
And so I don't know what documentation that you were looking at, but I'd be more than happy to get it for you.
Please.
I'd be more than happy to get it for you, sir.
Please.
Because it was in the conversation and in the paperwork that was presented to us when we were looking at this.
So are you talking about the parking deck that was supposed to be another deck built behind the courthouse?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, too. And that was not done then. Now, I did go to a meeting with the county manager you have now. And I guess, were you at that meeting? When all this stuff was talking about, and it was, matter of fact, it should be on YouTube right now. I went to the courthouse. And we were all there upstairs in the room and they had a full-fledged discussion on this with the contractor that was there and the whole 9 yards. Do you recall that meeting?
No, sir, I wasn't there.
Okay, well, I'm saying
I
is
wasn't there. But what I'm telling you, Troy, is everything that I'm telling you was what was done when I was chairman of that board, and anything that transpired afterwards on that next board, I do not know. But I'm telling you, for individuals to think that we did not do our due diligence in preparing for that event center in the downtown area, we did.
Okay, so let's just surmise, or let's say I want to believe that what you're saying is correct. Well, what do we do now?
We have the conversations. We have tough conversations about building that event center, because one thing about it is we know that the prices have ballooned, but we got to do something. And retrofitting that place was told to us at that time that it was wrong to do that. It would cost more to do that than building an event center. So at that time, if it was more to do it at that time, what do you think the price is going to be now?
Well, I'm just saying, as a citizen, 70-year-old, I'm a senior citizen.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a
You're
little
older.
right. I'm a little confused here. Why that should matter when we need new schools? We have ever increasing ballooning costs to try to retrofit or refurbish the schools that we have. A consultant, let me finish. A consultant just came a couple weeks ago and gave a report to the Board of Education about even closing some of our schools or consolidating them because they're old and they're dilapidated. We haven't gotten the water situation fixed, and still there isn't a new E.E. Smith that was talked about for the last the whole time you was on the Board of Commissioners. They talked about that. All these things that need to be done. I'm wondering, why do we need to have this conversation? This conversation about a event center when we have all these other things to do.
Okay, and you're absolutely right, Troy. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is the conversation that we had, the work that we had done about the event center, because there was questions as to why it was placed downtown. And I'm telling you the reasons why and the studies that was done in order to move forward with that. That was during the administration that I was on. We did our due diligence. The point that I make is that we did, as I repeated over and over again, we took the proper steps necessary in order to move forward with that event center. As far as it being paused and all of that, I had nothing to do with that, and I still at this point do not understand it because of the hiring of the Hutchins law firm to do the investigation of it. There is nothing that I understand in regards to that. But what I want you to know is that when we started out, we did what we were supposed to do. And you're absolutely right. The E.E. Smith School definitely needs to be redone. As you said, we talked about it a number of times, but you had individuals that were in leadership on that board that had the opportunity to move forward with it, that had not taken the steps to do it. There was a vote taken to have it not to go on to Fort Bragg, and that's all that was done. But you had the people on that board to do it.
What I'm saying is that the whole time you were on the Board of Commissioners, for your whole entire 12 years on the Board of Commissioners, E.E. Smith needed a new school. Is that not true?
Yes.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. And like I said, look, you provide with me because, see, I only know of one study that has been released to the public regarding the downtown event center. Obviously, you must be referring to others, and they have to be public information. So just tell me where to go to it, to read it, to find it, and if it's suggested that it would be there, I want to see it.
Well, I tell you this, Troy. The one reason that this was done because a young lady decided she felt that the event center was not the auditorium at the arena was not the place for her and other individuals
I'm aware
that
of
did like okay, and that was the reason why this conversation was being had. The location was placed in downtown. That's where we were when I was chairman of the board, and so at that time everything was ready to go to build this particular center. Everything was placed. All the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed. And what I'm sharing with you is that if we decide to move forward with this event center, which I think that we should, we need to have a discussion. We need to have a discussion about this.
Well, in that discussion, I would hope that you would do at least me a favor. All of these documents that you're talking about that I have not seen, and I know people that work there now that they've not seen them either. At least they claim they haven't seen them. Show them to me, and so show me the document that said we need to build this here, because the document that I saw was not paid for by the county. It was paid for by the people that manage your office there, and I think their main office is in some other state.
Well, why
Philadelphia.
would if that's the case for the main office? I think that you're talking about the Crown Coliseum, the individuals, the individuals that manage the Crown Coliseum. Why would they not have an opinion as to what needs to be done or where it needs to be built?
They did have an opinion in this document, but it wasn't there downtown. It wasn't because they met with the citizens. And I'm telling you, inside of that document, downtown was not the number one site.
That was the meeting with the citizens when we had the public hearing?
All of those are in there.
Excuse me?
Yes, all of those meetings are recorded inside of this document.
Okay, but having the public hearing,
but it was more than one meeting.
At that particular public hearing that I'm aware of, there was no discussion about where it should be placed. It was discussion on whether it should be built.
Well, I'm telling you, inside of that document, all of this stuff is inside of that document.
Okay, so do me a favor. Since you know about the document, you get it for me and let me see it. So we'll do an even trade.
No, well, but because you see, this document happened when you were the chair. You should have seen it already.
Look, let me tell you something. No, it was not.
No. You were the elected official when that document was done. You were the elected official there. So therefore, that's something that you should have already seen.
Okay, but you just said that the conversation to build that event center in front of the Crown Coliseum was done during the public hearing, and that was not the case.
Inside of this document, they did, the questionnaire as to where they think it should be. And I think they'll say something about like, don't hold me, I think 1,300 people, something like that.
The only questionnaire that I'm aware of that went out from any board of the commissioners was a questionnaire as to what needs to be done with the parking lot now that was tore up. That's the only questionnaire that I'm aware of.
Well, we'll see. And
no, sir, that's the truth.
I look forward to
that's the truth. But I'm going to stand by this. I'm going to stand by this. When we got that lawsuit from this young lady for ADA problems.
Yeah, I think it was 2014,
okay, 1 second.
Right?
Huh?
I think it was around 2014.
Regardless of when it was when I was on the board of commissioners.
Correct.
Okay, so with that problem that had presented itself to us, and we knew that there were problems out there regarding seating and regarding people moving around and things of that nature. But with that going on, I want you to know, and everyone under the sound of my voice to know, that when I was chairman, and you're loving this, as I was chairman, that everything was done in order, in decency and in order, to make sure that all the I's and T's were crossed before we move forward with it.
It's interesting, Charles.
Why is it interesting?
Because when I ask people about the document that I'm talking about, I asked some board of commissioners about it.
Who did you ask?
They had, I'm not going to call names, but they hadn't read the document. And I find it interesting that this document was done to assess where to put this thing at. And there were people that didn't know about it. and hadn't read it. And I even talked to.
Well, if there was commissioners,
right,
that you said
they
did not know and was not
they told me
aware
they
of the
hadn't read it.
document,
They told me
not
they hadn't read
aware of the document, how is it that you're aware?
Because I looked. I wasn't looking for that. I was just looking through minutes and everything else that you all did, and I came across it. And I shared it with a whole number of people. I tried to share it to people that were writing, because see, it's even some people now that have the same mindset that you have that haven't read that. You know what I mean? Well, we should have did this, we should have did that. But I'm just saying is that if you don't have your information straight, how can you be sharing an opinion with people and be righteous about it?
Okay, but that goes back to you as well. If you don't have your information straight, how can you do it?
Because I'm reading the document, and you telling me that you haven't read the document.
You keep saying
what
document.
Okay, look. Did you read the document? Did you read the document?
No, I have not read the document. But apparently, I don't know whether you read it or not either, Troy.
I'm telling you,
because you're behind the mic, you're at liberty to put out information that may be false. You could do that. You said you read the document. You haven't told me what document you're talking about yet.
Well, first of all, okay, our time is up. But look, I talked about this from the beginning. I didn't just start talking about this today. That document, I talked about it.
What's the name of the document?
I don't know the exact wording for
And so
the
you
title.
expect for me to believe that you read a document. You can't even tell me the name of it. What's the name of the document?
Charles, the document came out in August of 2021.
But if you can
And I'm saying
remember
is that-
everything else about that document, you can tell me the name of it.
I know what the document was about.
Okay.
I don't know what the exact name that they used for it, but the document was about that.
Okay.
But our time is up. But obviously you didn't read it, okay? And you were the chair.
Okay. And obviously, you probably didn't read it either.
Okay, that's fine.
Because you're one
look.
say you researched this, you researched that. Okay, if you got research, don't just put out here information. And that's what I dislike about individuals that want to give information about something, but they just give it information because they believe that.
No, but you see, this is what I did do. I sent the document to all of the print media that I know of. I sent the document to the owners of this station. I sent the document to a whole bunch of folks.
Okay, so
I'm not making that up.
Okay,
but I'm saying, but you know,
well,
that's your
I'm not
accusation.
saying that you're making it up. I'm not saying that you're making it up. I'm just saying that if you know this,
but you didn't read
it, and I don't know if you read it or not either. I don't know that. I'm asking you what the name of the document is. What I'm supposed to do? Go to online and just put in, look up document?
No.
If I want to see it? Okay, but since you gave it to all those individuals that you said you had given it to, please get a copy of it and send it to me.
I have it right here now. Okay, I'm pulling it up. Somebody just sent it to me. It is the market and financial feasibility study.
Okay.
That's what it is. Okay.
Now go to the part where you say.
No, we don't have time for that. No. Our show is done for today. But I'm saying to you, that is it. That's the document, and I'm going to forward it to you right now. Okay? Since you haven't read it, so you can read it because it came out in 2021.
Okay, I still don't believe you read it.
That's fine. I don't care.
Don't believe you read
I don't
it.
care. That's good. But I'm saying is that this is the document. I'm sending it to you
Okay,
right
well,
now.
forward
Okay,
it to me.
but it's 200 some pages.
Forward it to me.
But inside of all of that, you're going to see that document did not recommend downtown. They didn't. Okay?
Look, no, we were not talking. Okay, send it to me.
I'm sending it to you right now. Okay? Anyway, that's going to wrap things for you. And Charles Evans running for county commissioner. And I guess this is one of your main things you want to talk about moving forward.
No, sir, it isn't.
Really?
You asked me what was my priorities. I gave you the water issue at first. I just wouldn't talk about that because individuals were saying that we did not do a decent study and place it at, or I decided to place it downtown when we did. Now, wherever it go, if it does go anywhere, it's a conversation that needs to be made. Because as you stated, and which I believe, we are a Tier 1 county, and we need to talk about things that need to be done, because water is of importance. It's very important here, as well as a number of other issues. But I enjoyed this so much with you, and so you're good.
The document is in your inside of your email right now.
I appreciate it.
Okay, 200 some pages. Okay, and like I said, the other documents that you're talking about, and the stuff about the parking.
Okay, then let me ask you this.
But our time is up.
No, because you're but wait a minute. What you're saying, documents that any information that I get supporting what I said, I would appreciate it if you allow me to come back on air and we talk about it.
Yeah, please send it to me, because I just sent to you what I'm talking about. I want you to send what you're talking about to me.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I can do that.
I've got to wrap it up.